One Piece.
Juan
Piece. This is One Piece, chapter 1157, Legendary Bar. We are continuing.
Legendary bars?
Whoa.
Someone's about to spit some shit.
This chapter, we're back with Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage. The last we saw of this story, Yamato and his ragtag crew have arrived at a grave, an unmarked grave. We don't know whose grave this is, but we learn here that this is the grave of someone who fought against Kaido to protect his village, but perished without leaving a body behind.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know. I think it's a brand new character.
Brian, any theories?
No. I have zero theories.
No theories at all. Let me check something.
Some people are saying it's that guy that had Zoro's shadow in Thriller Bark.
Ryuma?
No, the other guy. Wait, no, that song. No, it was Zoro. Ryuma had Brook's shadow. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wait, Zoro's shadow? No, that guy was just.
People are saying it's him.
That's crazy. Nobody even knows who that guy was.
I don't know. That's what people are saying.
That would be nuts. But anyway, that's the update on what Yamato's been doing. We are continuing onward in our flashback to the Rocks era of piracy here in the world of One Piece. We're opening on the Embezzle International Charity Sanctuary, where we see the Rocks pirates are, just up to no good, stealing from this charity place, which was secretly a grift, where they would get all this money donated to them for the sake of hungry children, but it's just they've never used it on children. As the Rocks pirates are getting away, we see that Kaido and Whitebeard are still in the bottom level of the vault, I think. And Shiki is like, oh, I forgot about them. So long, suckers. And he drops a bomb down to them. But of course they survive because it's Whitebeard and Kaido. And Whitebeard...
There's somebody else down there, too.
Yeah, there's somebody else, Kyo, who was introduced last chapter. So yeah, Whitebeard creates some tremors and tsunamis and all that stuff, which is pretty sick. Yeah, Kyo is very pissed because obviously Shiki tried to kill them, and Shiki's like, "Whoa, if it isn't my good friend Kyo? Thank goodness you're alive. I was worried." And then they start fighting. Rocks is yelling at his crew to get their shit together because they gotta go. And they're starting to get surrounded by Navy ships. But Rocks ain't no punk. He's not afraid. He says, sink them all and take their loot. And we learned that within just 2 years of founding the Rocks Pirates, they were responsible for 16 recorded raids, 76 sunken ships, 14 ports burned to the ground, 5 towns leveled, and 1 kingdom brought to ruin. There were also 3 special violations of Article 18 of World Law and 25 crimes that were completely covered up. And people are saying that although Roger was still around in this time and was sailing the seas as well, the Rocks Pirates were getting so active that this era might as well have been known as the Era of Rocks. Pretty cool. We then cut over to an island called Enishi in the New World, where King Harold has come across a world government ship that seems to be rounding up people who are suffering from famine, and I guess I don't know what they're doing with them really, but they're basically, the world government is saying unaffiliated countries are lawless land in our eyes. The people who live in them have no rights, and Harold is not cool with that. He's like, these people helped us when we needed them most, and now it's time to pay back the debt. I will not back down from this. And this world government stooge is like, if you aid us, it might benefit you. But if you protect the unaffiliated nation, it will only decreases your chance of joining the world government. And he shoots a random civilian in the crowd and tells him to clear the way. Harold did not like that very much. He jumps off of his ship and attacks the innocent warship, as it was reported in the World Economic Journal. So yeah, the Elbaf is not looking good in the eyes of the world right now. And we cut back to Elbaf in Ida's bar, where Rox is back trying to convince Harold to join his crew. He's basically saying that, come on, Harold, let's share some drinks at the castle. Join me, you and your whole country. Stop being so stubborn. This is what the government does. They're assholes.
Looks like Walter White
Yeah, he does look like Walter White.
with horns.
I am the danger, Rox. No, but yeah, Harold has shaved his head, and he's looking closer and closer to that guy in the photograph that we saw a while ago. But yeah, he tells Rox that, mark my words, Elbaf will be part of the world government one day. And he says, well, and you think like shaving your head is going to make them change their mind from you? And Harold's like, yes, Garp laughed at me too. And Rox brings up how much Garp actually hates the government that he works for, and mentions that Garp should just be a pirate already because he does not align with them, but he still works for them for some reason. And Harold brings up like saying that it's an organization, some are miscreants, but as a whole, the Navy works hard to save lives on a daily basis. And he even mentions that, you know, some giants have joined the Marines. One we know is John Giant. He's appeared here and there in One Piece. We've seen him around, but you know, he hasn't had a lot of speaking lines. And he says, and Harold is like, if only I could send more of our overly powerful warriors, I know their strength would go a long way to helping the downtrodden. And Rox is like, sounds like the last thing I want to face out there. And he tries to get Ida to convince him. But Ida tells him that, well, if Harold were my son, I think I'd say choose better friends. So, hey, Ida's not with the shits. She does not like the world government. Good stuff. We then cut to Navy HQ where Garp, Sengoku, Otsuru, and Kong are all hanging out. They're all talking about Harold. Basically, Garp is trying to convince Kong, who at this time is an admiral, he becomes the future commander-in-chief of the entire Navy. So I think he outranks even Sengoku in the future. At this point, Otsuru, Sengoku, and Garp are all vice admirals. And, you know, they're all talking about how Rox is, you know, dangerous. And not Rox, sorry. Harold and the Giants are dangerous for the most part. And, you know, they if they get angry and lose control, it could be life-threatening. There's a lot of accidents that could happen with Giants. So, you know, there's a lot of trepidation over having Giants join the world government. But Garp is steadfast in, you know, having the Giants join them. Sengoku seems to be on that side as well. And Otsuru mentions that, you know, Rox has been trying to win them over as well. So, you know, if we're going to have them, we should have them. But unfortunately, Kong actually doesn't decide this shit because he's just an admiral. He doesn't tell people that they're cool to join the world government. It's not up to him. We then cut over to Fullaled, 42 years ago. So it would have been 20 years before Roger died. And we learned that Shaki has quit being captain of the Kuja Pirates, and everybody on Pirate Island is very sad. We get a brief scene with Big Mom and Gloriosa hearing the news. Not only, as Josh mentioned, is Oven there, but if you look on Big Mom's shoulder, Katakuri is also there. So
That's Katakuri?
yeah, that's Katakuri.
Oh, yeah, he's a fish man.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
There
That's
is-
why he looks like that.
There is another
Looks like
child
a fucking
there.
scarecrow.
There is another child there next to Gloriosa. That's not
Yeah.
Oven. I don't know who that is. It could be the
I think
genie
that's
guy.
the genie guy.
It could be
Yeah.
the genie guy.
Matter of fact, I
But-
got you.
Yeah, that's funny. But I didn't notice it the first time around, actually, Josh. When I read it the second time today, I looked at that panel and was like, oh shit, that's Oven and Katakuri. Hell yeah.
Yeah, right.
I just love these little moments. So, Big Mom was already having kids at this point. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's so wild.
Yeah. Yeah, so Gloriosa has, since at this point, she's now part of the Rocks Pirates. So she's left her crew, and then Shaki was probably like the captain for a while before she also quit. And Big Mom, Gloriosa's wondering what she's even doing. And Big Mom's like, did she quit? Because she wanted to chase after a man, just like you did, Gloriosa? And she's like, I don't understand you to expect the agony of true love with the way you crank out babies like popcorn. Damn.
Yeah.
That was a read.
Yeah, that was just pretty vicious.
But she says, I find it hard to believe that she's got love sickness, though. If it's with Roger, I'll never forgive her. And we see Stussy is like, everyone always talks about Shaki this, Shaki that. But you've never had eyes for anybody else but me, right, Newgate? And as we know, Stussy is potentially the baby mama of Whitebeard, although that is neither confirmed nor denied. And Whitebeard is not interested. I guess everybody in this series seems to just love curving ladies and just being like, man, I'm not interested in you at all. Except for Shaki, but we'll see that. We see that the Kuja ship has arrived at the shores of Fulalead. Excuse me. And who gets off but Shaki herself? She has left the Kuja pirates. I suppose Tritoma is going to take over from there. And she arrives on Fulalead, basically saying that, she quit being a pirate, but, the government's still after her. They're just not going to stop going after her. So she wants to hang out on Fulalead where it's safe. And, of course, everybody on Pirate Island is a simp for Shaki. So they build her a little place for her to open a business. The main Rocks pirates all show up to see what's going on, and they see that Shaki has opened up the very first iteration of Shaki's ripoff bar that we see on Sabodi Archipelago many, many years later. Sabodi. And she's going to be a bartender on Pirate Island. And of course, every single one of the Rocks pirates are in love, including Whitebeard, which is very funny to see. The narration goes on to say in time that she would become an irreplaceable treasure to the pirates who made this island their home. And what is treasure if not something that can be stolen? Very foreboding. And the chapter ends with the 5 elders saying that, commanding someone to give Harold an ultimatum. If you warriors of Elbaf meet the following requirement, you will be allowed to join the world government. And that requirement is for Harold to kill Rocks.
Ooh.
They ain't shit.
Nice.
Who's question marking exclamation pointing this?
Whoever's maybe on the phone. I don't know. Maybe they're talking to someone on the phone and they're like, what?
No way.
Maybe that's supposed to be us. We're transmitting our exclamation point and question marks across time and space.
He's like, they'll all be confused by this one.
I know this is going to shock them. But that was One Piece chapter 1157. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
I enjoyed this chapter a whole lot. Unfortunately, it's not my RGC.
I feel the same.
It's one of my. I still really enjoyed it. I have a question because I clearly I missed something. When the hell did Gloriosa join the Rocks Pirates?
There's been a little bit of a time skip, so they didn't show her joining, but at this point, they skipped ahead to when she's already there.
Okay. She just joined the Rocks Pirates just because.
We don't know why specifically yet, but she joined the Rocks Pirates for sure.
Oh, she joined the Chasing Man.
Yeah, Roger
Yeah,
probably.
Oh, and that's why she went out.
Remember, she's in love with Roger, so she joined Rocks to find Roger, I guess maybe.
Okay. What else? I think it's this plot with showing the Giants past. Clearly, we know they don't fuck with the world government right now, but I think it's just weird. Excuse me. I think it's really weird that like King Harold. I understand his viewpoint as far as like, oh, if we work with the world government, we'll be able to overall do more good. But, I feel like there's this idea called like harm reduction, which harm reduction is helpful, especially if you're trying to reduce harm to the most vulnerable populations or whatever. But ultimately, the better thing to do is to actually try to change things for the better. And I think Harold is trying to harm reduce. Because when the people you want to work with ultimately have malicious goals in mind, which I guess he couldn't have known for sure. Rocks knows. He ain't listening to him. And his wife tried to talk all that shit. That's crazy. Talk about making bad friends. Anyway, but your husband just shaved his head. That's what I would have said right back to her. I'm like, oh yeah? Your husband's bald now.
Well, she was talking about the world government with the Better Friends thing.
Oh.
Like that was she was saying that the government wouldn't be good friends.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
I thought she was talking about Rocks.
Nah.
Because then he was like, oh, what'd you say? No?
She said, hold on.
I'm going back to. Let me see.
She said, come on, Ida, talk about this. Oh, yeah, I guess she was talking about Rocks. But I think she was like, playing around with him. I don't think she was upset about him.
I would have played around and also said, your husband looks like
well, your husband looks like Kratos.
It's like bald. Anyway. I don't have much more to say. Brian, what are your thoughts on One Piece?
This era is such a treat to get a glimpse into, and like seeing the dynamic of the Rocks Pirates and stuff. Like Rocks just doesn't feel like an actually terrible guy. Am I tripping? Like,
well,
he decimated towns.
Yeah, he's definitely like destroyed cities and toppled like countries. He's stolen for sure. I'm not sure he's like a good guy, but
and that's the narrator that said that, not the World Journal.
Yeah, that was the objective voice of what's going on in the world saying this guy has broken so many rules. This is not manufacturing consent. This guy destroyed towns.
Let's be clear. And he did not give a fuck.
Yeah, this is a real thing. He actually destroys things.
Luffy has helped in the process of destroying towns, but it definitely wasn't him. Like,
yeah,
he wasn't the genesis.
No, but I know what you mean, Brian. Not for nothing. I do understand, because his goal is seemingly to topple this what we know to be just a terrible, oppressive government. So, and he's not forcing Harold to do anything. He's very respectful of Harold's decision, even though he is persistent. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. We're being a little silly here, but I think I know
I'm being silly, Brian. You're right.
no, you're not being silly. I'm also. It's very strange. It's hard to explain, you know, but I see where you're coming from. Is what I'm saying.
I kind of agree with Brian in a way. Before I go get something to drink, I agree with Brian because like I think most of what we hear about Rox being bad is mostly from the perspective of people that knew him from hearsay. You know, he has the Rox generation was a terrible time because, of course, because the fucking government hated him. And they hated Gold Roger too. You know what I'm saying? But I have a theory about why they fought Rox, why Roger teamed up with Garp in the first place, and all of that. And I don't think like this guy's trying to destroy the world or anything like that inherently. I think like this guy meaning Rox, like I think he becomes a true legitimate threat to like the Five Elders and Emu, like to them specifically, not like the world government, these niggas, right? And out of pure desperation, they manipulate, you know, I really hope it's not a situation where Gold Roger like teams up with Garp because he feels like, no, we need the Navy, and even if that means keeping Emu and the others alive, because then if that was the case, boo. That's why they executed your ass. But I don't want to throw man dirt on his name that like already, so I'm gonna wait and be patient. But it better not be that apologist bullshit. I don't want to hear it. The niggas needed to die, and then they could have killed Rox or whatever after. They didn't even do that good of a cleanup job. They let Kaido go. They let Big Mom go. Big Mom's been wilding.
I think
like Kaido's bad, but Big Mom's been wilding across the seas. Kaido's just wilding out on Wano. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought? I'm sorry, Brian.
Yeah, sorry, Brian.
But yeah, it's pretty cool seeing you know, everybody do their thing and stuff. But yeah, I don't have too many thoughts after that.
All right. I find this. I also agree. I think this is such a great. I love these like big expansive flashbacks. I didn't expect us to go this in depth when this flashback started. I thought it was pretty much going to be stuck on Elbaf and from the perspective of Loki, but I'm ever so grateful that we're getting pretty much what a history lesson of what's been going on in this time, because it's such a cool time. It does make me think about Roger's role, you know, this whole time, because we're seeing that, you know, this era was more defined by Rox. He was he had a goal in mind. He had something that he wanted to accomplish, where Roger just wanted to go places that nobody else has been to. Roger was more of an explorer even. I am curious to see what the dichotomy is, like what the difference is between the two. Like, I don't believe that Roger would fight Rox because he's aligned himself with the world government. Rox has to be going over the edge and doing something crazy or maybe even, you know, Rox is just getting in the way of something Roger wants. And it's not particularly tied to any moral thing. It's just maybe in the same vein of Luffy knowing that he has to beat all 4 emperors to be king of the pirates. Roger knows he needs to beat Rox in order to accomplish whatever he wants to do.
But he teamed up with Garp.
He did have.
Would Luffy
he
team
did
up
team
with Smoker.
He would team up with Kobe, probably.
rival?
I could see him teaming up with Kobe. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, Roger teaming up with Garp is what we know of. We don't know the context of why, or if they even were teaming up, or, you know, maybe they just had the same enemy, and they were just both fighting him. Like one of them was fighting them first, and the other stepped in as well. Because I also don't see them like, yeah, you know, teaming up in that sense either. So who knows? But it does make me think about Roger a lot. You know, for being in his era, we're actually spending very little time with Roger. in the time
Yeah.
where he's around and he's doing shit, where we don't see him barely. We know he's around and he's doing shit, but
You don't
Rox,
even have a beard yet.
yeah, he doesn't have his mustache. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, that's what's missing.
He doesn't have his fun little mustache. But yeah, it does make me think of that. There's something about Harold that is reflected in a few One Piece characters actually, which I think is realistic. Kinda is just a naive point of view of believing they can work within the system to change things for the better. You know, because I think Kobe has that same view, and I feel like a lot of people have that view. And I feel like that viewpoint being absent from this series would be unrealistic. I'm curious to see how this changes in Harold, if it changes in Harold down the road, if he realizes what the government really is. I have a feeling he does, because they do end up wanting to kill him. So I'm very curious to see why Harold is murdered by the government, despite being so eager to join them. The fishmen also have that same eagerness to be part of it, and I think it's just believing that things, like in a unification of things, is probably for the better than just everybody being an isolationist state. I think that's what Harold really believes in, is being a more active participant in the world. And the only way to do that in this world is to be part of the world government. But yeah, I think it's an interesting viewpoint, and I'm wondering how that changes in Harold, if it does at all. I think Shaki is going to be targeted by the world government. I think that
Yes.
I think something being said about what is treasure if not something that can be stolen is an ominous line that is implied that either the world government or somebody's going to take Shaki, and maybe Rayleigh saves her. The Roger pirates save her, and that's why she ends up with Rayleigh. That's my theory, and I feel like that's a really likely one, is that the Roger pirates end up saving Shaki Enies Lobby style. They all pull up, fight the CP9 of their time, and save Shaki.
That would be the coolest shit ever.
Ooh.
Sasuke Retrieval Log Part 2.
Yeah. Or Part 0, because it's a prequel.
Oh.
Enies Lobby.
Right.
Enies Lobby 0.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
curious. I'm very excited.
0, 1, and 2.
But I think that's all I gotta say about One Piece. I think it's very cool. By the way, One Piece is officially bi-weekly now. For the next few months, it will take on a bi-weekly schedule, so it's not coming out next week. So I think Oda.
Damn, is everything okay?
I think Oda has mentioned that he is like just preparing for, what's to come with,
This is planned.
yeah, this is like I don't think it's a health related thing. I think it's more of a we're gearing up for the final arc, or the final saga, big time for reals. So, good for Oda. I mean, honestly, whatever gets him rest, whatever allows him to continue to make this story for as long as he needs to, I am for it.